Well, I'm here with Joakim Bjorkman. It's a pleasure to be with you because I've wanted to interview you for quite a while but never had the opportunity to do so. Yeah. And we're doing so in Sweden as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
Joakim, tell me a little bit about how you first got started in golf.
First, I started with golf. I've always been sport interesting, and then I had many sports for like we call it floorball.
It's like I love floorball.
Yeah, and soccer. We had land hockey when I was young, play. So it's always been a stick and a ball. Right. And then I find out my uncle had a short 7-iron.
Okay.
So, in his apartment, and then maybe this one will fit you.
Right.
Then hey, I would try. And then I started at golf school when I was 12 years old.
Okay.
2002.
Whereabouts were you then? What parts of Sweden?
Västerås, it's called. It's called Fullre Golf Club. It's about 1 hour from Stockholm.
Okay.
So west into the country. And then from there, I remember an article when I moved from that school to 15 in handicap in 5 months.
Right.
So when I went that fast, I realized, okay, this is my sport. This is sport to do.
What did you like about golf in those days? What was it that made you more interested in that than floorball and
I don't know. I think it's more individual. It's all up to you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you, and you have the stick, and you have the ball. I mean, it's up to you to move it to another point. So I think it's when you do it good or when you do it well, I think it's encouraged very well into you.
So in those days in the golf school, because you said that you moved into a new school, a golf school when you got to 15 handicap or so. So were the people that were there that you played with, were they all a similar standard?
Yeah, it was at the same age. So it was someone who was in the same regular school.
Okay.
Then we went on the afternoon to have a practice with all the juniors and stuff. So we had like three or 4 organized practice afternoons.
Yeah.
With coaches and everything. And then from there it just went really quick.
So you became a pretty good player pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was maybe too fast. I mean, and then you realize, okay, I need to slow down a little bit to realize what happens right now. But I just lived there, literally. I was there from 6 or 7 in the morning till 10, 11 in the evening, because my father or my mother just leave me there when they go to work, and then just pick me up when they are done. So I just was there for the whole day, actually.
It's interesting you say he was almost too quick. So why do you say that? What would you have liked to be slower? Was there anything you'd have liked to have been slower?
No, actually no. But actually I like to have that kind of speed on my level.
Yeah.
But when you look at from another point, it was that went fast.
Right.
But for me it was it was normal, I think.
Now tell me about the disabled team, because the handy golf team, I think it's called.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How did you start getting involved in that?
My first tournament was in the handy golf tour. Was in 2003.
So how old would you be then?
13.
Right.
So that was my first appearance.
Right.
And then I got the wild card 2005 in Rapallo in the European Championship. Yeah, I was in the second category then. I got it from Daniel Stark, was the coach then. And then from there it was okay. You're a pretty good golfer to be in the team.
Now you spend a lot of time playing in both able-bodied tournaments and disabled tournaments.
Yeah, I did.
So can you tell me a little bit about any differences that you find, or also for anybody else in the future who might be also a good player that can play in both kind of golf? Is there any advice that you might want to give to other people?
I don't know, but the thing is, when I compete in the normal or the non-able, I think it's just a challenge. It's a fun challenge to do, because you're against the odds, you're against everybody else, and just when you do it well, I can see it on the other's face, just this is a good
surprise.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the power I get from it.
Yeah.
So I guess the faces and everything, all the reactions, just.
Tell me about growing up, because you're a person of short stature, and so did you have any difficulties growing up in the school or in normal society, I guess?
Yeah. Yes, it was. When I realized I was a short stature, it was like when I was 6, 7 maybe, when I first got in the first grade in school. I realized maybe it's kind of difference here. The thing was when I realized it was something different, I was just asking myself, just why me? Why just everybody looking at me? And then it starts when I get older. Listen, kind of you build so much information you need to have answers on, and then when you get to the point when I was 16, 17, it was just a blackout. So all that information was too much.
Right.
So it was just a blackout. So I was home with my mother. I remember I was walking to her, and then just a blackout, and I fell on the floor and start shaking. So that was the start of a 1 or 2 years period to get back, to relive, to start over, to have a different mindset, to handle everything.
Yeah.
So from there, I don't know. I started to thinking I have a third person as well who's looking at me, and who I see as well in between.
Yeah.
So it's like when I walking through someone, I was thinking, how should I look when I walk by, or something.
Yeah.
So that was the start to begin on.
So it's just a part of the recovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I have still that mindset today to work with. So when I passed that, I was like, I'm bigger than ever now.
Yeah.
So nothing's gonna stop me now. So
in that period of time when you were going through this and getting to the point where you had your blackout, as you said, did you have any kind of bullying from kids, or was it just comments and looks, or what do you think it was that was the most difficult to deal with?
I don't know. I think it was. I was not ready to handle everything.
Right.
I was not have that information clear for me. So
I was I was pretty sure that kids was looking. That's okay. That's they do how they do.
Yeah.
So, but then I mean, grown-ups, adults. I mean, they come with the comments as well.
Yeah.
So it's so all that mix was a little bit too much.
Yeah. And so then the recovery started.
Yeah.
You started to, as you say, you use this third person, so to speak.
Yeah.
And what else were you using then to get you through to, because you've obviously came out the other side of it,
Yeah.
a much different person, a
Yeah.
much stronger person.
Yeah.
So was there anything else that you did in that period of time to get you through?
I have one thing. It was the golf.
The golf.
It was like home for me.
Right.
So when I was still golfing at that time.
What sort of handicap would you be at that stage? 'Cause you're still a pretty good player.
Yeah, 60. Maybe I had like 5, 6
Okay. Yeah.
handicap. So I was. It was same procedure. I get at the course at 7 in the morning, and then get home like 9 or 12 or 10 in the evening. So I still had that process. So that was very, very important. Without that, I think I never would sit here today.
Right.
So that was a very special place in that moment.
And what was it about the golf? Was it the environment or
Yeah.
the people?
Yeah,
or?
it was like home for me. It was like every person in the golf club was, they know who I am, the real me, on my way. So they just talked to me or had a conversation on a different way, or normal way.
Yeah.
What I see.
Just one of the guys.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like home for me.
So you're now playing handy golf. You're playing regular golf.
Yeah.
You're playing a lot of golf. You're playing well.
Yeah.
And so then you've turned yourself into a player that plays pretty much all over the world, internationally, playing for Sweden. You wear that shirt with pride, I know.
Yeah.
So when was the first time that you played for Sweden?
For Sweden was it was 2005 in European Championship Apollo. I got the wild card for to be in the team.
Yeah.
So at that time I was 15 years old. So now I'm 28. So yeah.
And tell me a little bit about playing with all the other guys that are in the handy golf team, because you've obviously got a very close bond.
Yeah.
The guys, I see them every time we go to a tournament. You guys are together and you're laughing and you're joking and you practice together. And so tell me about that bond and what that means to you.
That means a lot. I remember when I was too young for this team. I was always the last man.
Right.
But now we have a nice group of ages and type of persons who combines very well with each other. So so now I'm not the youngest one.
Yeah.
So
soon you'll be the oldest one. Soon.
Yeah, soon. I hope it will be a couple of years.
Yeah.
So we have a great mix right now. At this moment, we have a very good mix. So we have from 17. When I was 17, I remember now Rasmus in the team now. So I can recognize some of the parts. And
you get together quite a lot in trainings, or?
Absolutely. I mean, outside this golf course or this team, we talk to each other very often.
Right.
Not just about golf. I mean everything.
Yeah.
So we have a very close
Good friends.
bond. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it means a lot.
And Daniel Stark is your national coach.
Yeah.
Does Daniel work with you personally as well?
Yeah, he do.
And so, how's that work developed? Because I think you mentioned earlier that in 2005 he gave you the first wild card.
Yeah.
That's 13 years ago, so
Yeah.
over that period of time, time
Yeah,
flies.
yeah, time flies.
Once you get to my age, then you'll
Yeah.
really see time fly.
Yeah.
But over that 13 years of work, what have you been working on? I mean, has it been your physical game, your mental game, your tactical game, or a bit of a mix?
Yeah, I think I always had the mental game because I think it's connect with that time of period as well when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it comes from there to handle things,
Yeah.
to keep in all set. So and then my strongest part is my short game. I think that is the fun part of golf.
Right.
So maybe one day I just practice have some few wedges to work like 12 hours a day. I think at that time I thought this was the fun thing about it. So yeah.
And then going into some of the events that you've played in, because
Yeah.
you've now played in several European Team Championships.
Yeah.
The latest European Team Championship was a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
and that was down in Portugal in Quinta do Lago.
Yeah.
But you've played in several other events as well. Is there any of those that really are a highlight for you?
Yeah, it is. As you said, the team championship, the European team championship. I remember have a special place, and then actually my European the European Championship in 2006.
Yeah.
I was in the second category. On the last day I took in 14 shots to win it. That is the first I
Highlight.
yeah. So
And what's coming up for Joakim?
right now in this moment on a couple of days I play the professional tour here in Sweden to have a match against them.
You mentioned that golf was very important to you before. So what does golf mean to you?
When you look at it today, it means everything. It is a big part of my life, a very big part of my life. So without the day thinking of golf is not a good day.
Right.
So I think it's means a lot.
What about if you had any advice to give to somebody? So I'm going to ask you, I normally ask this question,
Yeah.
and I normally have just one part of the question. And the question is, if you had any advice to give to somebody who is in a similar situation to yourself, that maybe doesn't play golf,
Yeah.
what advice would you like to give them?
Maybe thinking outside of the box to maybe when you feel like should I do it, that's the first sign that you should do it. So when you're feeling like 50-50, that's the first sign of you have to do it. So if you don't you're missing something you should have done.
Tell me about the advice. So I said it was the second part to that
Yeah.
question, which I don't normally ask, but I think you've raised some very good points. The second part of the question is, when you have this blackout, at that stage there, what advice would you now give to somebody who's in a similar situation to that? So when it all gets on top of you,
Yeah.
how would you manage that process if you had that opportunity to do it again?
I think now when I look at it, I think just process it. I think it's a part when you get to that point, it's no other way out. You have to do it. You have to feel it. You have to go through it. So it's like when you have done it, when you are on the other side, it feels like, okay, what's next? It's like it's so much easier to handle things. So maybe it's a little thing or it's a big thing, but you have to go through it.
Right.
So when you have done it, so it's much easier to do other things.
Last question for you.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship that you've got with Henrik Stenson now, because I know that you've been to a couple of his camps,
Yeah.
and I think you also spent a little bit of time with him as well.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you? You obviously had time to spend time with Henrik. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, the first time when I was in south of Sweden, it was the first time we met Henrik. So we had like 1 hour to practice with him and ask him or everything. And then from there it's start to build up like a relationship or friends relationship. So now we had a camp for a few weeks ago. It's like he's in the family. It's like he fits so well in our group. So it's like it's like one in the gang.
One of the boys.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's a great sense of humor. He's like he's thinking almost the same way as we do. So it's so easy to deal with him. So it's easy to talk to create things.
Tell me about if you had the opportunity to change things so that it would be easier for people with disability to get into golf.
Yeah.
How would you change it? How would you change the game?
I don't know. I remember when I get into golf, it's all was the junior mentality to create something. It's doesn't matter about the result. I mean, just be creative. You don't have to follow the rules or something. Just do it just do it how you best feel. So just be creative and just have fun. And then if you feel something for it, just go to the next step.
Well, I really appreciate your time. I know you're in the middle of a tournament, so you've got a second round tomorrow. So I wish you all the best for tomorrow. But I also wish you all the best for next week.
Yeah.
So that's just another tournament for you to play next week.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching for your scores. Joakim, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you very much.